line. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now. Text AM to 39179. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. Prepare to have your mind opened. The lies of the mainstream media are about to be exposed, and the hypocrisy of the left is about to be revealed. This is a revolution in how you think about politics, race, and culture. You've tuned into Black and Right with John Anthony.
I'm coming in hot.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the John Anthony Show here on AM 560. I'm Brent Hamachek, and I'm filling in for John today. Don't panic, because if you don't want to listen to my voice for a full 3 hours, I have an extraordinary lineup of guests that will be joining us to have some really in-depth conversations about some really interesting topics. And we're going to start right away in a minute. But first, I thought it might be worthwhile for you to get a little bit acquainted with me, since you're wondering who on earth is the guy sitting in for John Anthony. So first of all, I'm the Vice President and Associate Publisher for Human Events Media Group. That's Human Events in the Post-Millennial. Folks that listen to this radio station regularly might be familiar with a couple of the folks that work with us who have regular shows on the air. I'm also the Chief Communications Officer for the Freedom Chamber, based here in Illinois. Freedom Chamber is the only organization with a national footprint that is really looking out for the interests of small and privately owned companies. So if you're listening to this, if you're an entrepreneur, you own your own business, and you want to get involved with something that improves your mind, your bottom line, and your public policy influence, then I'd suggest you visit freedomchamber.net and take a look at joining with us today. I've also had my own business consulting practice for 25 years, working with privately owned companies, usually in a David against Goliath type sort of setting. And I've written a number of books, some of which you may have read. I've had a chance to write with Charlie Kirk, the late Dr. Zelenko, and a book that came out last year, Dissidently Speaking, Change the Words, Change the War, that I was very happy to see hit top new release in Amazon in Western philosophy. So that was a little bit of fun for me. In terms of where I'm coming from, I want you to know I am irreverently nonpartisan. I don't cheer for either party. I don't believe, by the way, that we have what we call a uniparty. I don't think that at all. And I think if you take a look at the recent vote on the spending bill that the president sent through, and you see the mostly party line vote, that's sort of inarguable. And what I do think is the case is that members of both parties, sadly, share to a large extent a common behavioral trait. And that trait is cowardice, unwilling to stand up and confront tough issues in tough ways and really force the country to move in the direction it needs to move in by taking tough steps. So that's a little bit of it. I am all about conversations. I'm wearing a t-shirt that says it's all about the conversation, something a dear friend of mine said about me once, and another friend turned into a t-shirt. So I love dialogue. And then my personal mission for the remainder of my life is to try to flip declaratives into interrogatives. I want people in America to stop walking around saying it is all the time and start asking, is it? And I'd like them to stop walking around saying they are and ask, are they? And finally, most importantly, I really want all of us to take a look in the mirror, stop saying I am, and ask ourselves, am I? So we're going to have a show filled with good guests and good questions. We're going to jump into it right away. I'm going to bring in Jeff Webb, who I work with. Jeff is the publisher for Human Events Media Group, and he is also the man who, as an entrepreneur, 50-some years ago, started a company that's evolved into Varsity. and has turned the activity of cheerleading into an internationally recognized sport. So, without further ado, Jeff, are you on the line with me?
I'm with you, Brent. That's a great intro, and enjoyed hearing about your background and what you stand for. It was great.
Well, good. And you and I have worked together for just a little while, so it's probably shame on me for not sharing my background and what I stand for sooner. So look, we're going to spend a little time here together, and I want to get to the idea of your entrepreneurial experience and what you accomplished as an entrepreneur, and then how difficult it might be for an entrepreneur today to replicate your success. Before we go there, I want to do something. I think a lot of people listening either were cheerleaders themselves or their kids are cheerleaders or have been. And there was news a while back that cheerleading has been approved for Olympic participation. And I think a lot of people think, oh, well, that means it's going to be in the Olympics. When do I turn my TV on? But I know it's not that simple. And I was wondering if you might give listeners a quick update on where cheerleading stands on the road to being in the Olympics.
Yeah, sure. When my small team and I many years ago set out to take what was a kind of a traditional sideline leadership activity and really bring athleticism and entertainment to it and really modernize it. We never really dreamed it was going to end up being the kind of sport it's become. We introduced cheerleading competitions in the early 80s. Cheerleaders didn't really compete before that. A lot of your listeners have probably grown up and, occasionally have been channel surfing or tuned in and have seen one of our shows on ESPN over the last few decades, actually. But we introduced cheerleading to television through the inception of a cheerleading competition that grew to numbers of competitions, different segments within the sport. And, about 12 years ago, we looked up and went, this is cheerleading now with the internet and kind of the expanded television footprint that exists globally is becoming something that has a lot of global appeal. And we were getting a lot of questions about how do you do this? How do we get started? And we would actually send instructors and coaches on our nickel, frankly, all over the world, really, once we got an inquiry to really help with this. And, we began to see those seeds grow and, to the point where we had a number of outstanding organizations representing cheerleaders in various countries. We decided that we were going to really focus on global expansion because, frankly, the market in this country is pretty saturated, and that would be the great new frontier. And so we were pretty naive. We were Americans. We'd strictly done American business and didn't realize in most other countries that sports weren't done in schools, that your sport was usually part of the government through the sports ministry. Most other countries have a sports ministry, and that to get your sport supported with equipment and coaches and facilities and uniforms and so on, you had to be your sport had to be recognized at the international level with a federation that the International Olympic Committee recognized. Easier said than done. You don't just fill out the paperwork and send it in. And it took us a little over 10 years to actually start getting organized, getting our governance in place, developing a world championship, educational programs, to the point where today there are 121 national federations in countries around the world. And at the Tokyo Olympics, our application was finally heard and approved after a lot of work by my colleagues and the people involved in cheerleading around the world. So you're right that now having been recognized by the Olympic Committee doesn't mean that you're in. It just means that it acknowledges that you have a sport that meets the high standards of the IOC from a governance standpoint, education, just the ability to drive the growth of a sport that has value to young athletes. And so that was very rewarding. Now from there, then you start. You have to be recognized first to get in the games. So there you start. Then you start your path toward, okay, how do we get in the games? And we tried for LA, but we had just been recognized, and we're going to try again for Brisbane. It's easier said than done. It's not just how popular is your sport, how athletic it is. It's also about the number of athletes that can be in the games, and the fact that we have a team sport that means more athletes from more countries. But we have some things going for us. The IOC wants sports now that are new, that skew young, that have both male and female participants, that are entertaining. And so, we have those things. So we have work to do, and we're trying to get ourselves in a position where as soon as it's possible, we'll be in the Olympics.
That I know it's been a life stream of yours, and I know how hard you've worked at it, and certainly we hope to see it happen. We're getting near a break. We're going to come back with Jeff Webb. Jeff Webb, by the way, wrote a book that was a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 5 categories. American Restoration, How to Unshackle the Great Middle Class. I think some folks from the Trump administration might have read it because they're doing a few things that he told them to do in that book a handful of years ago. We'll be right back, folks.
Mike Gallagher says, don't take it lightly.
You've got all hell breaking loose there between Elon and President Trump. He wants to form a third party? And I got people in my life saying, it's never going to get off the ground. Don't be so sure. This guy's a massively influential person. Are you kidding me? With just ignoring this? This is not an insignificant guy.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Charlie Kirk at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
What makes Ben Ben is that he's very, very detail-oriented.
That's Arvid Huth from Penny Mustard Furnishings, talking about his brother, Ben.
The details to me matter. The smallest detail needs to be right, and there's no reason it can't be right. To me, a room needs to be clean, and there's no reason a room can't be clean. A room should be organized. A warehouse should be organized. There's no reason why it shouldn't be organized. I'm a fanatic on some of those things. And Arvid would roll his eyes at me. That little dust is no big deal. But to me, I'm like, no, that needs to be cleaned up. He's so passionate about the quality of the furniture. Those details are his details. It's important for that furniture to be built perfect. Every little detail matters if you're going to have people and a company and a culture where what we deliver to that customer is absolutely the best thing we can bring to that customer. Everything we do to get to that point that the customer never sees needs to be done to our best ability. But in the end, I've always learned that the details won't take care of themselves. Ben will take care of the details. So that's been a blessing.
PennyMustard.com.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available, financing is flexible, and at Air Right installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you, and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
We couldn't decide if we needed in-home care for Dad.
Right. Just some help here and there with bathing, organizing his meds, a walk through the neighborhood.
Oh, exactly. But everywhere we looked, we had a 4-hour minimum. It was more care than he needed. And it didn't make sense to spend extra for it.
Then we found Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. No minimum hours. We were shocked.
Now a caregiver stops by once or twice a week for just an hour or two to help with the small things that make a big difference.
And Mom loves the visits. It's not just help. It's companionship.
At Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, we understand that not every family needs round-the-clock care. We serve DuPage, Cook, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. We conduct free in-home assessments and we guarantee compatibility. Call Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest today at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
It's the show the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. It's Black and Right with John Anthony
Welcome back, everybody. Brent Hamachek sitting in for John Anthony today. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's a real privilege to sit on this side of the desk. On radio, I've been a guest a million times and a host 0 or 1 counting today, so this is fun. I've got Jeff Webb on the line, the publisher for Human Events Media Group and the founder of the company that's grown into Varsity and the author of the Amazon best-selling book, American Restoration, How to Unshackle the Great Middle Class. And we're going to talk about that now. So, Jeff, I know that when you left the world of full-time cheerleading and wanted to get into the world of what I call the world of ideas, one of the things you wanted to do was to make a contribution so that people that were trying to start a business today would be able to do it and have the success that you enjoyed when you started it many decades ago. And so I'm wondering if you would share, as you look at the lay of the American landscape in 2025, what do you see as the challenges for entrepreneurs that face them at the macroeconomic level? And we're going to talk about what kind of advice that you'd give them. Let's start with the challenges you see or the lay of the landscape.
Yeah, well, we can talk. You talk about advice. We can talk about just the things that entrepreneurs, people starting businesses today that want them to be a success will face that was similar to what I faced. We'll get to that. I mean, I was very fortunate to, as you know, to start a business when I was 24 years old out of my apartment, and we were able through a lot of hard work with some amazing people, and some would say a little luck, to build it to a multi-billion-dollar company with 6,000 employees at one time. And I say that not to brag, but to say the experience was absolutely incredible. I never had one day that I regretted getting up and go to work. And so that kind of experience, I wish anybody that wants to start a business can have. I wish them all the luck in the world. From a macro standpoint, Brent, and I've talked about this a number of times, and we've written about it. I think there's some things that make it harder today. And when I speak to young entrepreneurs or people who have said they want to start a company, and I warn them about this because I think first of all, and this was in my book, and we were talking about it before it was cool, you could say, the national debt. I've harped on that for years, and you've seen the debt get worse and worse, and now we're beginning to actually see some of the ramifications of that. Persistent high interest rates. People really worried about how the country's going to survive and what programs we're going to need to cut. And the high interest rates and that national debt, it comes home to roost. It's like having personal debt and credit card debt. You just keep living your life and everything is fine, and you can keep going out to dinner and buying your car and doing buying clothes or whatever. And then the first time your card gets rejected, the whole house of cards falls in. So I think the national debt and getting that under control and realizing that it's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to affect the next generation of especially small businesses, but really everybody, is something that has to be dealt with. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be painful. So number one on that. I think energy independence, some of these things, as you said, the Trump administration, when I read the book a few years ago, these things weren't really being addressed. Right?
Yeah, I think they might have read your book.
Well, I hope so. I'm not going to take credit, but I certainly hope so. We talked about energy independence because, we were sliding into a situation where we were relying on other countries for our energy, and not only was it getting more and more expensive and leading to inflation, but also it has geopolitical ramifications. We should ask ourselves, how many wars would we have been in the Middle East if it wasn't because of oil and gas, hydrocarbons, and their scarcity, and the fact that that's where the supply was, and if things went bad there, we were all in trouble. So I just think that being able to have our energy, supplied and confident that we can do it ourselves in a crunch, I think is really important. It's something that affects everybody. And I think excessive regulation, again, the Trump administration is rocking it on this right now. We'll see how it turns out. but all the permits and licenses that are required for no reason at all. I mean, some things are good, but very few, frankly. And we didn't really face that. And then I also think that the education system, and 20 years ago or 15 years ago, we would have said the public education. Now, as we've seen with all the DEI trouble with some of the Ivy League schools, it's everywhere. And a lot of the problems that we face today, in my opinion, because we fell asleep, Republicans and Democrats, for a couple of generations, and just let the education lobby kind of run itself, and you can see what it's given us. We have, to have good workers, to have people that are motivated. I think they've got to have that good educational experience. And then finally, the new one, Brent, and then I'll shut up. And the new one is, in my opinion, the imperial judiciary. When we start seeing a judge in any place in the country be able to affect and control policy for the whole country, whether it's foreign relations, whether it's immigration, whether it's financial, whatever, it's a big problem. So we've just, again, gradually allowed the judiciary to become the dominant branch. People worry about the imperial presidency. It's really the judiciary. So these are kind of some of the macro issues that I think young people are going to have to deal with, and that's the reason they have to be involved politically now. There was a time when you didn't have to, but they need to be involved now.
Yeah, it's interesting. You bring up the judiciary thing, and of course, we hear a lot of people who are critics of the president talk about how he may be trying to create a constitutional crisis. Seems to me this past week we might have had a judge trying to create one in the Planned Parenthood ruling when Congress very clearly used their power of the purse to defund something that a judge said you can't do that. So I think maybe it's the courts themselves that might be trying to force a constitutional crisis. I want to throw you a fun curveball that's low-hanging and slow. So, and that is, people in favor of an aggressive energy policy, like you just sort of mentioned, are associated with people who want to cut down forests and ravage lands and just tear apart the environment at all cost, right? But you have a strong conservation background and a real passion for it. So do me a favor, share a little bit about that. We got a little under 3 minutes to go. Tell everybody that side of Jeff Webb that they might not be familiar with.
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning it. My father was in the oil business. He was a small operator. We weren't wealthy. I grew up in very much a middle class environment. But my father had grown up on a dairy farm outside of Waco, Texas, during the Depression. It was a very, very tough time, and then fought in World War II. But growing up on a farm, he spent a lot of time outdoors, not only working. He was actually a working cowboy. He told me his first car was a quarter horse that they used to work the cattle and on the ranch. But he did a lot of hunting and fishing, and he's just outdoors a lot. And he gave all of his children a great gift, and that was an appreciation of nature and of our responsibility to treat nature kindly, and how important it was for not only our well-being financially, but also for our mental well-being. And that that is stuck with me. And I love the outdoors. I'm fortunate enough now to have my own farm, and we grow crops, so we have a lot of timber. We plant timber. We have a duck hunting. I have a duck hunting a piece of land and property, and we do a lot to help encourage wildlife. And so it's something that it's always been a passion of mine. But and I hear what you're saying about people thinking that people who produce energy are only in it for the money, and it has not been my experience at all. I think all people understand, especially business leaders, that we need clean water and clean air and to take care of the environment. I mean, when you look at some of the green programs, whether it's windmills or solar or a requirement for electrical everything, those are the things that also harm the environment. People should be aware of that.
That's right. We've got 30 seconds. One key tip for young entrepreneurs. Go.
Make sure that you have something that you can differentiate get great people, share the wealth, create a culture of competitiveness, but also kindness.
That's why Jeff Webb's successful, folks. I ask him for one, and he gives me about 5, and he does it in 10 seconds. So, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. It's really been a pleasure. Fun to talk to you this way. We haven't done this before. Maybe we'll get a chance to do it again. We'll be right back, folks.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Presented by Lang Home Medical Equipment, Valdecast Windows and Doors, and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Jack Callahan. Search and rescue teams continue to look for more than 170 people still missing after the flash flooding swept through central Texas last week. Now, more rough weather is expected.
Night and day, crews are working. They're hiking through riverbanks, cutting away at piles of dense debris with cadaver dogs, and dive teams continue to search the water as they monitor rain in the forecast once again.
It's Katie Byrne at Fox Weather in Kerrville, Texas. A new report exposes critical security lapses in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania 1 year ago.
This is coming out from a Senate report now saying that the Secret Service not only made big mistakes that day, but according to a report that just came out from Senator Chuck Grassley, he says that the Secret Service knew there was a threat to President Trump's life for 10 days and didn't take action or share that information.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. America is listening to Fox News.
Chicagoland traffic. The Ike, the Stevenson, the dreaded 294. You sitting in traffic is not time well spent. Time is money.
Oh, come on, man. What's the slowdown for?
Especially when you're trying to do your own company deliveries.
What is happening up there? I got things to deliver.
But instead of sitting there getting more and more frustrated,
please, can we go any slower?
You could be back at the shop getting work done.
I should have stayed at work and actually worked.
Get Quick Delivery Service to battle the traffic for you. They'll make your deliveries while you get other things done. Quick Delivery Service makes it easy. No forms, no labels, no scanning. They'll deliver large pallets of materials to important documents. Simply tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going. They'll pick it up and get it to your destination quickly. Plus, your deliveries are tracked with real-time GPS notifications. Visit quickdelivery.com and stay out of traffic.
Oh no, this exit's closed?
Call now for a free quote. 847-534-2244 or go to quickdelivery.com.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago Immune Support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
When you want the best in construction and industrial equipment, look no further than Chicago's most trusted name for 76 years, O'Leary's. From Bobcat to Bosch, Milwaukee to Steel, O'Leary's carries all the top brands and a huge inventory. From skid loaders and excavators, power tools, generators to welders, O'Leary's has the equipment contractors count on, all under one roof. Located on 6 sprawling acres in the heart of Chicago, O'Leary's boasts a massive showroom and full-service shop, better equipped than any competitor in the city. All backed by an experienced team who are committed to meeting your needs. Plus, a modern delivery fleet driven by pros. With O'Leary's, you'll get the gear you need, on time, in perfect condition, and with service that actually knows your name. Visit O'Leary'sEquipment.com. Call 773-252-6600 or stop by just off 290, exit 24AB on Cicero Avenue. O'Leary's, where experience meets equipment and equipment meets satisfied customers.
Let me take a moment to talk about one of our loyal sponsors, QC Kinetics, Regenerative Medicine. You've been hearing their ads on the station for 2 years, and the response from listeners has been exciting and emotional. So many are getting relief from chronic joint pain thanks to stem cell therapy from QC Kinetics. In fact, 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. Even Joe Rogan loves it. AM 560 listener Tracy is proud to report she is a new QC Kinetics customer. If you're stuck in a cycle of painful steroid shots and considering surgery, stop now and contact my friends at QC Kinetics. Get a free consultation to learn how regenerative medicine, using your own body's biologic healing properties, can help your body heal itself. This is advanced cellular therapy. It doesn't cost anything for a second opinion. Weekend appointments are available. This could be life-changing, so call today to learn more and see if you're a candidate. Call 312-809-5955. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
This is Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everybody, to the John Anthony Show here on AM 560. I'm Brent Hamachek, filling in for John Anthony, doing the best I can. You know, during the break, I was realizing that there's this Facebook Live thing, and for anybody who might be watching, my desk looked like my room used to look like when I was a teenager. So I've done a little bit of house straightening during the break. I apologize for that. Also, you may notice if you're watching, I occasionally lift a can of Fresca to have a sip. That replaced bourbon as my drug of choice a long time ago. And I came to learn it was the favorite soft drink of Ayn Rand, who also happens to be my favorite philosopher. So there we get to know each other a little bit better. Before we bring on our next guest, I just wanted to point something out about the conversation with Jeff Webb and the part right at the end where he had been talking about this aggressive energy policy. And then we talked about what a strong conservationist he is. This is the problem we can have when we start to draw conclusions about what any one person thinks about X just because we know what they think about Y. And this is what my work is entirely dedicated to trying to address and correct, trying to get people involved in real conversations with other people and understand where they're coming from, because we come to find out we have more in common than we have different or have in differences. I'm not good with speech, so you've got to forgive me, folks. I do want everybody to pull out a pen and paper because at the end of the third hour, I'm going to give you 3 websites that I'm going to want you to write down, and I'm going to have one final wrap up on this notion of constructive engagement. But right now, I want to bring in our next guest. This is going to be a ball for me. Folks, before I launched my own consulting practice 25 years ago, I spent 15 years in the banking industry, starting out as a bank examiner for the Treasury Department and ending as a commercial lender and doing a lot in between. And for the last 25 years, I've mostly been fighting with the banking industry, advocating on behalf of commercial clients. So let me bring in Eric Olhausen, a co-founder and the Chief Strategy Officer for Old Glory Bank. Eric, are you with us?
Yes, I am. How are you today?
I couldn't be any better. Thanks for joining us. Boy, is it fun to talk to a banker.
That's not said often in your day, I'm sure, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know, in our next half hour after this, we have Mark Beckman joining us, who's written a book about artificial intelligence in the future and what's to come. And one of the things he points out in his book, or the argument he makes, is that in the future, AI is going to make banking fun. That's a tough one for me to buy, but maybe you can help because maybe Old Glory Bank is doing a little bit of that and making banking fun. And before we talk about the banking industry, perhaps in particular today, I think that most people that listen to this station would say, and most people who are sort of in the world of conservative thought, if you said Old Glory Bank, they'd say, oh yeah, I've heard of them. And they'd say they're a patriotic bank, and you'd say, great. And then if you said, tell me more about them, they'd say, well, I don't know, but I know they're a patriotic bank, right? Share just a little bit about what went into starting Old Glory and what makes you guys different from all the rest.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to your audience. Old Glory Bank, as you stated, is a openly patriotic bank. We serve customers, I'll point out, throughout the nation, every state of the union. Because we're an online digital-first bank, customers can be located anywhere. In fact, we're an online model. We have just one small physical location in Oklahoma, but customers every state of the union. In terms of the mission and the values of Old Glory Bank, it is openly, unabashedly pro-America. We support the Constitution, very proudly support the military and our first responders. Second, I would say we are completely committed to protecting the rights of anyone who's lawfully operating in our society to have a place to bank. And that's taken for granted by a lot of people, but there actually is a thing, the cancel culture in banking. It's called debanking, and it happens not just to individuals who may be outwardly political in one way or the other, but also just regular folks, maybe the masses, who are perhaps exercising their rights in the Second Amendment space, wanting to own a firearm or buy ammunition. So a promise to be patriotic, a promise to not debank our customers, and thirdly, a promise to protect the privacy of our customers' data. And some might think, well, what bank doesn't do that? Well, and Jordan's hearings revealed last year, to those who were not familiar with it, just how much cooperation behind the scenes the big mega banks were engaging in with the feds, with FinCEN, with the FBI, and voluntarily sharing transaction data, no subpoenas involved, as to where their customers were spending their money. Was it at a outdoor store, and therefore might be a firearms owner, or so forth. So we found it. I had the concept of, or the idea of Old Glory Bank came to me in late 2020. Your listeners will remember there was a lot of, that was a tumultuous time, a lot of, rioting and kneeling for the flag and the anthem. And I just got tired of yelling at the phone. Yelling at the TV.
Well, hold that thought on yelling. We're about to go to break. When we come back, we'll finish, and I've got some questions for you about the regulatory world. Be right back.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gave Alice, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
This is a special alert during this window replacement season. Don't get tricked by the cheapest offers and gimmicky ads. Now's the time to see and feel the difference of high-performance windows from Valdecas.
When it's time to consider new windows, siding, and doors for your home, you need to look no further. Sebastian Gorka here to tell you about Valdecas. Valdecas has been the trusted name chosen by thousands of homeowners, and they should be your number one choice too. But what's really behind the name Valdecas? Over 25 years of a team dedicated to providing you with the best customer service experience and products that truly bring value to your home. They are a Pella Platinum Elite Status certified contractor for a reason. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, as well as high ratings and positive reviews on both Google and Houzz. Schedule your free in-house consultation at valdecas.com.
Ask about their exclusive manufacturer warranties and their 10-year workmanship guarantee.
Don't wait. Book today at valdecas.com. For the best in class, it's Valdecas.
Did you know that AM 560 Radio has a full-service digital marketing division called Salem Surround? If you're a business decision maker, listen up. AM 560 listeners are everywhere your potential audience is. So are our incredible targeting capabilities. We localize digital marketing and put it within reach of every business, small and large, in Chicagoland and beyond. Salem Surround offers AI-powered marketing solutions that reach your ideal audience. Whether or not you tap into the proven live, local, and emotional connection that AM 560 Radio brings, Salem Surround offers a total marketing solution to our partners. All-in-one digital solutions that provide targeted local digital and social media ads, Google AdWords management, website services, video strategy, search optimization, and even a management dashboard to offer you total campaign updates and transparency. Your Salem Surround representative is located right here in Chicago. Experience the Salem Surround digital revolution today. Call 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951.
And now, more Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everybody, to the John Anthony Show. Brent Hamachek sitting in for John Anthony. He is off doing incredibly important things, I understand, this weekend. And so I'm trying to sit in and hold the fort. Speaking of which, in terms of being a radio novice, I was looking at the clock they have here in the studio in the last segment. And as it was running down on time, I kind of missed that because I was looking at the wrong clock. And I thought, wow, we have 4 hours and 40 minutes to go. Turns out I was looking at the time. So I'm here with Eric Olhausen from Old Glory Bank. Eric, you still with me?
Yes, I am.
So you got to be honest with the audience. You got to have a little humility. And if people can't laugh at me, I don't know what to do with me. So in any case, before we ran out of time, you were just sort of finishing up that what it got you to start Old Glory.
Sure, and I'll wrap that up. So just got tired of watching things that I thought were should be addressed in our country, and felt that our financial system, there's nothing more important to the success of a small business or just individuals going about their lives. There's nothing more important than being able to participate in the economy and actually have a bank to go to that they feel shares their values. And so early on, I'll say this concept of Old Glory Bank attracted the attention of some really prominent conservatives and patriots in our country. One of my co-founders is country singer John Rich. Larry Elder and Ben Carson are both on our board. Sean Spicer recently joined our board. He was press secretary in Trump's first administration. So some great folks involved in the bank. We really offer the feel of a community bank and the technology of a mega bank and the values of Uncle Sam. So it's a place that I always encourage people in life. You have the opportunity to vote with your dollars and vote with your feet. And why not, given the chance, why not support organizations that are aligned with you and share your values? And that's something I think for a lot of your audience, they would find. I encourage them to go to oldglorybank.com and learn more, but I think they'll find that it's the place that can really deliver what they're looking for in life, and yet also support a mission that's probably near and dear to their hearts as well.
You mentioned the cooperation of the large banks with the government. I don't know that people necessarily realize that the banking industry in the United States has consolidated extraordinarily over the last 2 decades, and especially coming out of the financial collapse of 2007 and 2008. And there was really a deliberate effort on the part of the federal government and the bank regulatory agencies to shrink the number of charters. I would encourage people on their own to do the research at how bank charters have decreased over the last 20 years. And that shows what an uphill battle that you've fought in starting Old Glory. You've done the Bill Buckley thing of standing athwart the winds of the times and yelling, stop. What are the challenges for an independent community-type bank to launch and thrive inside such a regulated market and a market so dominated by large money center banks?
Excellent question. We did go down the more difficult path of actually being a bank. There are a lot of great technology kind of financial services businesses out there that use a third-party bank, behind the scenes. We felt, though, it would be a hollow promise to our customers that we wouldn't debank them if we didn't have the ultimate autonomy of being the bank who got to make that decision. So to your point, being a bank, there can't be a more regulated industry out there than the financial services and banking industry in particular. There's just a lot of regulation. Smaller banks, it's almost like we say if you're an airline, whether you're flying 1,000 flights a day or 5 flights a day. You still need, even as a small one, still need, every bit of security and maintenance and, operations and so forth. So it takes a lot to run an operation, but we've got just a phenomenal offering for our customers. And in our view, we've just felt we are a market-based solution. People who want the greatness of America to be promoted, well, you can do that in a lot of ways through political channels, let's say, for example. Why not also reinforce it through commerce, through institutions out there, such as an Old Glory Bank, that is, there to promote, promote our military, promote our first responders. For example, we've offer a line of duty death benefit for free for any first responder or member of the military, and that's something we pay as the bank. We pay a premium for that, and those customers, so long as they're banking with us or people in that audience, they get that benefit. And so we really try to walk the talk, not just kind of stand behind a patriotic banner, but to really deliver something of value to those people that we speak in support of.
So we've got about a minute left in this segment, and I hope you'll stick around for the final one, because I want to talk to you about the commercial banking side. But what sort, if any, of regulatory resistance or pushback has your bank received based on the fact that your mission is so patriotic driven, and yet the regulatory industry inside of the banking world is not? Have you felt extra scrutiny, or has it been okay?
Good questions. We certainly went down a path in establishing Old Glory Bank. We actually bought an existing bank, a 120-year-old bank with a proud history in Oklahoma, but that approval process with the OCC certainly required a lot. Recent offering, we're actually doing a public offering, a Reg A offering, people can learn about at oldglorybank.com. That took a lot of extra scrutiny, so we've been successful despite that, and I think we look forward to this current administration supporting us.
Good stuff. Eric will join us in this final segment of the hour, folks. Stick around.
Experience a luxurious summer when you visit Trump International Hotel and Towers, Chicago, a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star hotel. Take in stunning views of the Chicago skyline from the heart of the city, steps away from the iconic Magnificent Mile and the revitalized Riverwalk. Treat yourself to exquisite dining at Terra 16 Restaurant and Rebar Lounge, overlooking the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. Catch the Navy Pier fireworks display from Terra 16's patio on Wednesdays and Saturdays all summer long. Relax in immaculately designed suites that offer the utmost level of comfort. Refresh in the state-of-the-art spa featuring a 75-foot swimming pool, steam and sauna rooms, relaxation lounge, and more. The Trump Hotel Chicago offers sophistication and elegance to downtown Chicago and is a convenient travel destination for your summer getaway. Simply visit Trump Chicago online to make your reservations today and search offers to find the never settle summer stay. Book today.
Perhaps you're a collector, or perhaps all of a sudden you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Sean Thompson for Donley Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donley Auctions with their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions. They have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonleyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donley does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers, it's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Black and Right continues. Once again, here's John Anthony.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. John Anthony's show. Brent Hamachek sitting in, and Eric Olhausen from Old Glory Bank on the line with me. Eric, I want to ask you about commercial lending, business borrowing, and the way the world has changed. back when I was a commercial lender, those were the days where before someone could get an SBA loan, a loan that was guaranteed by the government, they had to be turned down by other lenders and actually bring those turned down lenders in. Now what we're finding is that the SBA, instead of the lender of last resort, has become the lender of first resort. And the allocation of credit, the winners and losers in the marketplace of borrowing money, are being determined by the government instead of necessarily by free enterprise and merit. What is Old Glory's take on commercial lending, and what are you doing to step into that void?
Excellent topic. I'd say business banking in general is a real strength of Old Glory Bank, and part and parcel of that, the key component is access to credit. A lot of financial services, and I encourage people for just their individual accounts to look at Old Glory Bank. But small businesses in particular really tend to get caught in the squeeze where big banks really don't care about them because they don't move the needle enough. Small banks, community banks, typically are great on the relationship side, but just because of their lack of scale, don't have the technology to really deliver the great online banking tools. And we really fit that in between, the best of both of those worlds, because we do have a national scale. And what that means is we can serve commercial customers in every state of the union. So we have customers clear across the country, businesses and individuals. And we have a whole commercial lending team. In fact, we've promoted that earlier than eventually we'll be doing more on the consumer lending. But right now, primarily focused on business lending, including SBA loans, and some great online tools because, to your point, it's something that businesses really need and are finding less and less from, being driven by banks. Well, we've introduced just almost what we call a pocket CFO for small businesses, where forecasting automatically their cash flow and doing some what-if analysis on making purchases that maybe they finance through us, getting a sense of benchmarking against other similar businesses. So just some great tools because, as you point out, it's tough being a business. You need access to the funding to maybe meet those troughs in cash flow. And something Old Glory Bank, I'd encourage any small business to look to us. We even have cash services where delivering where you can make cash deposits at 88,000 retail locations clear across the country. So we've really solved every need a business and consumer would have for their banking needs.
It's a quick thought for all the business owners out there. I want to just tell you, after 25 years of battling with banks, one of the most important things you can do, if it's possible, is to find a relationship with an independent bank like Old Glory, because it's not about routine day-to-day banking. And with some independent banks, that can even be more complicated. It actually is about when you have trouble or when you have a need that's outside of the ordinary, because the large banks are set up for process, not for results. And so their ability to work with you is quite limited. And so finding a solution at Old Glory can be a really positive thing for your business. 30 seconds left. Eric, give us a final thought about the world of banking, a tip for a business banker, if you will.
Sure. I will say most of banking is a commodity business. It's, who really raves about B of A versus Chase versus Citi? It's like the utility. You expect the lights to be working. You're not going to rave about it when it does. I would say Old Glory Bank really stands out where we decommoditize banking because we brought great technology to a bank, phenomenal customer service.
Good stuff. We're out.
The Dinesh D'Souza podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Probably heard, but you don't have to take your shoes off anymore when you go to the airport. This really shows you how stupid government bureaucracy is. One guy takes off his shoes, everybody freaks out, and then for 20 years, all the airlines across the country make tens of millions of people actually pull their shoes off.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
My friend Paula just remodeled her kitchen. I feel bad. It's so bland.
Yeah. Everyone's using the same templated designs these days, or just refacing cabinets.
Let's check out Forever Remodeling. They do full and custom kitchen remodels from the ground up, just for us.
It'd be nice to have a kitchen that's truly ours.
Exactly.
Don't get the same kitchen design as everyone else. Visit Forever Remodeling today at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com. And tell them AM 560 sent you.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer.
The search continues in Central Texas. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. For the more than 170 people still missing in the flash flooding that swept through the area last week. Now there's the threat of more thunderstorms. Fox Weather's Katie Burns reports from Kerrville, Texas.
Night and day, crews are working. They're hiking through riverbanks, cutting away at piles of dense debris with cadaver dogs, and dive teams continue to search the water as they monitor rain in the forecast once again. Parts of the hill country are in a level 2 out of 4 flash flood threat tonight, as forecasters say it really would only take one thunderstorm to cause flooding in a region that's already so saturated. We spoke with search crews who say any incoming rain would be a setback. And we're learning more about the victims who have been found. A procession for 12-year-old Shiloh Wilson, a young rodeo competitor, just passed us as he makes his way home to the Houston area. His family says he will be buried there with his parents as they were in an RV park nearby that got swept away by this catastrophic flooding.
At least 120 people have died from the flooding. These latest storms also forecast to bring hail and damaging wind. Generous Fox viewers and listeners have helped to raise $5 million to aid Central Texas communities. A judge has ordered the Trump administration to halt indiscriminate immigration stops and arrests in California.
That judge ordering the Trump administration to cease immigration stops and arrests in 7 California counties, including Los Angeles, after immigration advocacy groups filed a lawsuit saying President Trump's administration systematically targeted, quote, brown-skinned people. The judge's order temporarily blocks arrest without, quote, reasonable suspicion that the person is in the country illegally, saying officers were unconstitutionally relying on improper factors like race, accent, and line of work. She also agreed detainees were denied adequate access to lawyers.
Fox's Chanley Painter. America's listening to Fox News.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago. Now, your official weather forecast.
Overnight will be partly cloudy and humid with a low of 66. On Sunday, expect less humidity with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Wildfire smoke will create hazy skies. The high will reach 86. Sunday night will be clear with a low of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility, and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Hey, heard you're getting ready to move.
We just listed our house on the market.
Just make sure you have the right attorney.
Doesn't the real estate agent take care of all that?
They stay involved, but you want to make sure you have a great lawyer that's negotiating the terms, helping resolve inspection items, clearing up title issues, preparing the deed and other documents, and attending the closing.
The attorneys at Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village have decades of experience handling real estate transactions every day all over Chicagoland. NALawGroup.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. Prepare to have your mind opened. The lies of the mainstream media are about to be exposed, and the hypocrisy of the left is about to be revealed. This is a revolution in how you think about politics, race, and culture. You've tuned into Black and Right with John Anthony.
I'm coming in hot.
Welcome back, everybody, to the John Anthony Show, Black and Right. I am Brent Hamachek, sitting in for John today. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. At the start of the first hour, I gave you a little bit of background about myself so that we could get a little better acquainted. Now I thought we'd do like a little bit of speed dating thing, and I'd hit some other highlights for you. So just in case you're curious, my favorite color is pink. My favorite artist is Bruce Springsteen. I'm sorry, I know there's going to be a lot of folks out there who take terrible offense to that. My thought is, I don't care about his politics. Let me know when he starts to miscord on Born to Run, and you'll have my attention. My favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. My favorite fictional characters are John Galt from the Atlas Shrugged novel, John Rambo, and Lieutenant Columbo. And finally, I know everybody wants to know where I was born and raised. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, where I am heading this week for my 45th high school reunion. So a shout out to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and the class of 1980. So, by the way, that's all the personal stuff you're going to have to deal with for the remainder of the show. We're done with that. I had a chance earlier this week to meet a gentleman by the name of Mark Beckman. He is the author of an Amazon bestseller out right now, all formats, called Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. And he's also the CEO of the advertising agency DMA United. He is a brilliant individual. He is very, very intriguing in his writing and ideas. I say that he's provocative in the good way, where he makes you think. And we're going to take this half hour to talk to him about the coming future of artificial intelligence. So, Mark, are you with me?
Brent, I'm here. It's great to hear your voice. Thank you for having me today. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. And at my age, it's good to have my voice heard. So
Brent,
as Brent. Now I've given away my age by telling everybody my graduating class.
45 years, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what they don't know is I graduated at the age of 7. So younger than you think, folks. But
Brent, I got to talk to you about Bruce Springsteen. I can't let that go.
All right. Go ahead. Fire away.
All right. So I struggle with Bruce Springsteen my whole life. I've been a major Bruce fan. I love Bruce Springsteen, but I got to be honest with you. All of the politics hits my soul. I just want to be able to enjoy Springsteen, Clapton, Neil Young, all of my roots. Roger Waters is a total ridiculous fool now. How am I supposed to enjoy Bruce Springsteen when everything has become so political?
Well, I think the key to it is it's pretty easy, because there's two ways to listen to Springsteen. One is recorded and the other one is live at a concert. Now, if you're listening to it recorded and it happens to have a political speech, you can skip it. If you're at the concert, everybody has to go to the bathroom eventually. So, by the way, I've been at Springsteen concerts where when he starts to give a political speech, and you look at the aisleways in the, say, the United Center here in Chicago, it looks like ants crawling up the leg of a picnic table after a cake. So many people in the procession to walk out.
I didn't realize.
So
good to hear.
Yeah, I think that my thought in life, Mark, is that we have to enjoy the things about things and people that please us, and try our best when we can to set the rest aside. But maybe AI will do that for us.
I want to tell you, like, obviously I have roots like you in rock and roll. I love it. And one of my all-time favorites is Bob Dylan. And in my book, Some Future Day, I talk about how music is going to fundamentally change because of artificial intelligence. We're already there. All of the listeners on the show today, if you want to create your own song, lyrics, music, even disseminate it, produce it, and get monetized for making that song, you could do that with artificial intelligence today. But the real question, and I'm going to pose this your way, Brent, is if a person uses artificial intelligence, is the AI better at creating songs than someone like Bob Dylan? And that's what I explore in my book. Who is going to create the better, more important songs ultimately, man or machine?
Well, it's of course, it's a question, I guess, waiting to be answered. I did see a news story pop across my news feed this week that I meant to click on and read, and I'll admit that I did not. But the headline was, and perhaps somebody out there knows what I'm talking about, that there is some new band that's very popular that's disclosed that all their music has been AI generated. And I guess the question before us is, if a song is beautifully written by AI, and if a song is beautifully written by a real human, is there anything about the soul that might be missing from the former? And I guess future generations will decide that. But as you and I have talked before, you're very optimistic about this AI path that we are on. So as opposed to so many people that have all the concerns, I know you have concerns, by the way. Folks, don't get me wrong. There is nothing about Mark's book that is written with any naivete, nothing. But his general take is, despite some of the challenges, this is a really positive development. Speak to that. Speak to that optimism piece.
Sure. Look, I'm definitely a tech optimist. I believe, in fact, that artificial intelligence is going to fundamentally change our society for the better. It's becoming the underpinning across all business sectors, from the creative areas to finance, from medicine to government and beyond. That said, artificial intelligence has the power to change things rapidly. I look at it like it becomes like a rocket ship for humanity. And we as adults, as mature people with morals and ethics, need to treat artificial intelligence now similar to the way we might treat our child, with care. We need to be smart about things, because if we're not smart about it, if we're a little bit, in fact, erratic, this could backfire in a major way. So as long as society goes slow and is considerate about how artificial intelligence is treated, how we train it, how we use it, and beyond, that rocket ship will propel our society forward in a positive way. But there's definitely, without a doubt, a risk attached to it.
The ethics piece is something that I've written and talked about a bit. It's the part that concerns me. I get different answers from AI people, folks that say, look, these systems can only really do what it is they're programmed by humans to do. And on the other hand, I hear these are learning, evolving things that could even eventually take the place of humans. You've all Noah Harari sort of school. And I look at it and say, look, there's only a handful of ethical systems that exist. We don't have to go through them because it would take, a 3-hour lecture. But I wonder if AI is a learning thing, and if it's going to be eventually making decisions for us that have meaningful consequence to humans, what are we to think of the ethic that might be attached to this? What might it be following? Do you have a thought on that?
I do. I think the real risk there is with regards to who and how the artificial intelligence platform is being trained. So, for example, we have these LLMs for just to lay them out a little bit. Think in terms of OpenAI's ChatGPT. Grok was just upgraded just the other day this week. It's really incredible right now. That's Elon's platform, Grok, Grok. We have other platforms that are internationally built too. So, for example, DeepSeek, that's created in China. Perplexity is a U.S.-based vertical, incredible LLM. But these are centralized entities that are trained with the corpus of information and data from all of humanity. However, they could be biased. I believe that in many ways, in fact, this corpus of information is inherently biased, racist, and sexist. And I could explain that to you in further detail in a second. I just want to answer you directly. What's happening now is because these centralized entities can influence the LLMs, they could recreate history or tell current events in a way that might not be entirely accurate. So I mentioned DeepSeek, Brent, the Chinese platform. And what's interesting is I use DeepSeek. I go on it. I've been using it for a long time now, before it launched in the United States, actually. And if you ask DeepSeek about whether or not China has slavery, specifically, for example, the Uyghurs, DeepSeek answers as if it was the CCP answering you. They don't have slavery. There's no such thing as slavery. Everybody is treated the same in China. And that way, the centralized entity becomes very dangerous and can be hurtful.
Let's continue this after the break. I think we're all concerned on some level, in some way, with the great line, "Hal, open the pod bay doors." There's our old reference. Folks, we'll be right back after the break. More with Mark Beckman.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Presented by Lang Home Medical Equipment, Valdecast Windows and Doors, and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Hey, this is Honest Eddie from the car lot down the street.
Hi, Honest Eddie.
Is it true your showrooms don't have any employees?
That's right. Hasselus mattress showrooms are employee-free.
Now, don't you be dishonest with Honest Eddie.
It's true. Give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guide. And through Monday, get additional instant savings of $248 off Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest.
Son, to make it in sales, you gotta pressure people. Like, what's your budget? Or, I know it's the most expensive model, but trust me, it's the right one for you. And what's it gonna take to get you into a Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest today?
But that's hassling customers.
Yeah, so?
Our store is called Hassle Less Mattress.
Just change the name. How about Wacky Westerns?
Uh-oh, you're breaking up. Gotta go.
Wait, no, let me talk to my manager.
Hasseless Mattress, 100% Eddie free. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hasseless.com.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
2815 Old Jacksonville, Springfield. CordellCordell.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's the show the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. It's Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, folks, to the John Anthony Show here on AM 560. I'm Brent Hamachek, still filling in. We're going to continue with Mark Beckman, author of the Amazon bestseller, Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. Again, the book's available in all formats. If you're like me, it's hard for me to sit down anymore and actually read a book because I tend to doze off. So you can listen to it in audio if you'd like. But whatever you do, I'd urge you to get it, because what he does in the book, he doesn't just talk about AI. He talks about AI in multiple categories: education, news, warfare, social media, and so on. There is something for everyone. Even if you're interested in only one thing, you can read one chapter and satisfy your curiosity about that topic and AI's future implications. So, Mark, if you're still awake and still here, welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Now I got you. Lost you for a second.
I'm here.
Yeah, there we go. We had dead air on radio, so we just lost 9/10 of the audience, but hopefully they'll come back. So before the break, you were talking about DeepSeek, and you were also going to come back and talk about this bias thing. And so I'm wondering if you can keep going and do that for us.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're giving me the opportunity to talk to about this issue, because I think it's important for people to understand that there was an issue originally when these LLMs launched, dating back maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But there's a new issue now that people are uncovering. It's been something that I talk about a lot, which is just human nature. So like I mentioned earlier in the last segment, these LLMs are trained by major corporations, including, for example, like Google. They're doing a great job with Gemini right now. But what they do is they use this corpus of information that humanity has built. So think in terms of research papers, books, magazines, periodicals like newspapers, scientific reports and studies, all kinds of mathematical data and science. It goes on and on and on. But as you are very well aware, Brent, there was a time period, for example, in the United States in the 50s and the 40s, even in the early 60s, when certain segments of society didn't have the opportunity to participate, to create these studies. So, for example, women were never nominated or recipients of any of the Nobel Awards. And the reason being is because they weren't even permitted to create the reports or the findings or the research to have the opportunity to win. So as a result, the corpus of data that these LLMs are trained on leave out entire segments, the ideas and concepts from entire segments, demographic profiles from within society. And therefore, the problem that we have, and I don't think there's any way to cure this, honestly, the problem that we have is that we're missing the perspective, naturally, of a lot of people. So it's something that we need to think about. There's not a cure. This is the way it is. It's just the bottom line. But this is a real issue.
It's interesting. As I shared with the audience at the start of today's show, a little bit of my background. One of my roles is that of associate publisher for Human Events Media Group. One of the things we're very well aware of in the news world is, when you go to Google now and you ask a question and you get that AI-generated answer to it, we're very much aware that what's being scraped to provide those answers has been coming from news sources that, let's just say, if nothing else, don't have a very well-rounded perspective. So answers you're getting, even so, forget the bias from days past. even in days present, we still have this sort of selection process that's being taken in order to feed into these systems what it is they're looking at and analyzing. So it's a historical one that's harder to solve than the present one. They both need to be addressed.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So imagine if there were just entire moments of time missing, and as a result, how does it impact the next generation? So as you and I have discussed previously, there could become an interesting divide between the intellectual haves and have-nots, whereas AI levels the playing field for access to knowledge in an incredible way. At the same time, people might be inherently lazy and not do the research to see not only if the data is correct, but if all of the data is there. So imagine if the next generation, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the younger kids, rely on artificial intelligence, which may be trained poorly, inadequately, and as a result, their information and their knowledge base isn't as robust as it should be. And it doesn't even have to do with any of their own personal biases, but then in turn, the world is shaped a little bit differently. So there's an interesting platform. I recently had a discussion with the founder and the owner. It's called Latimer AI. And the founder's name is John Passmore. And what John is doing is he's training the LLMs to make sure that it includes a lot of the holes that you and I are talking about, particularly with a slant on race. He's training the LLMs to include incredible amount of information, speeches, great work from like Booker T. Washington and beyond, but great information that's not necessarily included in all of the LLMs. So we'll see. People are trying to address it, but these are issues that we need to be cognizant of. It's early on. This is new technology. It's emerging technology. And although we're going very, very fast, we need to always, as people, verify. Let's not trust what we're reading. Let's not trust what we see. Let's verify. Now, if you see it, don't necessarily believe it.
Doviai no proviai, Reagan's great Russian line, trust but verify. That piece about students and, having those answers, we talked about that prior. My fear is that this could become a little bit like eidetic memory, which some consider to be a learning disability, photographic memory. And that is because it's easy to teach the student. They instantly know that 2 and 2 is 4. They saw it, they know it, but then it can be harder to teach them why. My fear with AI is that it could potentially create an entire generation of young people who effectively have that form or notion of a learning disability. Let's hope not. So, Mark, I got to tell you, I'm so tickled with myself in the studio because I've learned how to watch this clock. We got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this segment. I want to have you talk about the relationships that could develop between humans and, as you call them, meta-humans, and in particular, this notion of even being able to retain a relationship with your past loved one. And folks, you've got to read his whole book because the whole thing is great. But this just fascinated me. So talk a little bit about that because I think people will find it intriguing.
Well, look, I think it's a really interesting concept, and it's going to happen. Let's face it, most of us don't love necessarily who we're talking to, who we're interacting with. Maybe they don't look the way we want them to look or talk the way we want them to talk or even have the knowledge base that we prefer for them to have if it's a commercial type of transaction. So what meta-humans are going to do are effectively create a experience in the virtual realm, a 3D but digital experience with an individual, a digital individual in the metaverse that takes on a character or the characteristics that you prefer to interact with. So the way we profile target segments today have been the way that we've been profiling them for the mid-century. Think in terms of like me. I'm living in New York City, so I'm a middle-aged white guy with a particular household income here in the Northeast, right? That's how we've been doing that forever. But now brands and companies will be able to segment these profiles in a minor, like a sliver type of way, and then bring metahumans to life to talk directly to, like, for example, their customer base. So now if I am a 20-year-old, I could talk to someone in the banking industry, a metahuman that speaks my language, that could relate to me and I could relate to him or her. And that's going to be really critical for brands. We're going to see a major transformation, and that information will grow and change and be customized to all of the customers. Now, the other thing as it relates to metahumans that you spoke about is about lost loved ones.
And we got 40 seconds left, Mark, so I'm just letting you know. Keep going.
So there are plenty of octogenarians out there that have been dating and married to their loved ones for decades and decades and decades, and then, boom, one day that person passes away. Well, you could bring that person back to life in the format of a metahuman, and it's going to be special. It will sound exactly like your loved one and behave exactly like your loved one.
Mark Beckman, everybody, I love it. Get his book, Some Future Day, available on Amazon. Mark, thanks for joining me. We're going to talk more over time. Be right back, folks.
If you've ever wanted to meet Larry Elder, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, or Charlie Kirk, now's your chance. It's AM 560's Terrific Talkers VIP Experience Contest. Enter today for a chance to meet your favorite host and sit in on a live broadcast. The grand prize includes airfare and 3 nights of accommodations. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/VIP. That's 560theanswer.com/VIP.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. With more than 170 people still missing from last week's flash floods in Texas, rescue and recovery teams are now worried about the weather.
They are concerned about this incoming rain this weekend and how it could impact search efforts. And really, it would only take one thunderstorm to cause any kind of flooding here.
Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. A preliminary report today on last month's Air India crash just after takeoff, and it's disturbing. Fox's Stephanie Bennett.
It appears fuel to the plane was cut off moments before that crash. Now, the report did not say how the switches could have flipped. One of the engines was able to be restarted, but the plane could not gain power quickly enough.
The report also cites pilot confusion. More information expected soon. America is listening to Fox News.
Summer is all about making great memories. Boy, I love getting out on the boat. I admit that one of my little joys in life is to get on a boat and ride around on Tampa Bay. But if you're living with pain, those future memories can be stolen from you. Here's a thought. Try Relief Factor. Let's see if we can get you out of pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement designed to help your body fight pain. It's a doctor-developed formula made of natural ingredients. The best part of all, Relief Factor never masks the pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it for good. Whether it's doing what I do, whether it's kayaking on a lake, running around with the little ones, or just chilling in the hammock with a good book, Relief Factor can help you feel better, move better, and do more of the things you love all summer long. So if you're ready to reclaim your summer and make some amazing memories, head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF. Do it now and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That number again, 1-800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Golf legend Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, tennis star Rafael Nadal, and the late great Kobe Bryant. What do they all have in common? They're all recipients of stem cell therapy, using your own body's healing properties to find relief from sports injuries and chronic joint pain. You can receive the same therapy at QC Kinetics in Naperville, Morton Grove, Oakbrook Terrace, Gurnee, and Crystal Lake. QC Kinetics, regenerative medicine. You've been hearing their ads on the station for 2 years, and the response has been so exciting. So many AM 560 listeners are getting relief from chronic joint pain thanks to stem cell therapy from QC Kinetics. 92% of patients report satisfaction. Even Joe Rogan loves it. If you're considering surgery, stop now and contact QC Kinetics. It doesn't cost anything for a second opinion. Weekend appointments are available. This could be life-changing. Call today to learn more and see if you're a candidate. Call 312-809-5955 and tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. That number again is 312-809-5955. 809-5955.
FestGen Wealth Partners knows you're feeling the pinch of rising cost of living, and you are not alone. Potentially maximize your savings and get the guidance you need through times of uncertainty with a team at FestGen Wealth Partners. Get started at GetRetiredStayRetired.com.
Advisory services offered through Best Gen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and Best Gen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. Best Gen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
Don't miss cutting-edge coverage of daily news from an America First perspective on the Alex Marlow Podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
Everything I'm seeing from the public is that public does not like the idea of just pure welfare and charity being done for people who are able to work and are not willing to work. So able-bodied people have got to get back to work.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Larry Older here. More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
Honey, we're not moving, but we gotta do something about this kitchen.
Funny you mention it. I just stopped by Forever Remodeling's new showroom in Niles. I saw over a dozen kitchen and bathroom layouts they designed. They even offered to stop by the house and give us a free in-home design consultation.
What'd you tell them?
That we're free today?
Visit foreverremodeling.com today. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
This is Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everybody. We're halfway through this thing. We're going to make it. I've got a feeling we're going to make it. I'm Brent Hamachek, filling in for John Anthony. It is such a pleasure to be, as I said earlier, such a pleasure to be sitting on this side of the microphones and having a chance to talk to this audience. I've been a guest on AM 560 going back over a decade, off and on, different shows, different hosts. Never did I dream that I would have a chance to sit on this side of the table, talk to guests, and talk to all of you. So I hope you're enjoying the people that have been on. I think that we were having a really good wide range of conversation, different topics, and we're going to shift gears again. So I have on the line someone who is a very dear friend of mine, and I like to call him the nicest person in politics. And you know, it's easy to be nice in politics if you aren't any good. But if you're really good, it's hard to be nice. But John Pudner is a guy who's found the way to mix competence and politeness in just the perfect blend. So, John, are you there? Are you on the line with me?
I am. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. John, so John sent me a note last night, and he said, Brent, you always say I'm so nice, but if you get my title wrong, we're not friends anymore. So let me read what he wrote. Folks, John Pudner is the president of Freedom and Family Action, a new national group that's taking the model of Wisconsin Faith and Freedom nationwide. John, are we still friends?
There we are. Thank you for delivering that.
All right, there we go. So, folks, John's an interesting guy because he's a little bit like SpongeBob. He's on television every time you turn on the channel, but his work is really behind the scenes, and he's been involved with grassroots election efforts, voter turnout, and mapping out successful election strategies for a very, very long time, and played an incredibly significant role up in Wisconsin in the 2020 floor election in flipping that state back to one that was red. So, John, I want to start, since you were so emphatic about getting the title right, I want to start, by the way, folks, I'm kidding him about that, but tell us about the new initiative now of Freedom and Family Action and what it is you're doing. What is this next for John Pudner?
Yes, we really are taking the model we felt like we perfected in Wisconsin last year. As you know, I had run faith-based turnout for the whole country in the 2000 presidential and really wanted to focus on Wisconsin, just to your north there, just for the 2024. Thought, the way it went would be the way the country went on the presidential. So we honed it, and it was nice to just stay in one state just for that crucial year. But we kept getting calls after it as publicity got out that we'd gotten 402,000 voter comparisons out through churches, hoods, and put them in voters' hands. And we started to have people from all these other states call and ask, can you replicate the model here? And I said, yes, but why don't we set up a separate group that's not, I don't think many Illini would like me coming down and say, hey, I'm here with the Wisconsin group trying to get information out. So it's an extension, as you said.
They're funny like that, by the way. So continue, yes.
Yeah, so that is it. And really our model's been three things. It's getting into churches, and that's where people gather, particularly when you get in a little more rural area where you can't hit doors. We get to doors, and we've been door knockers for decades. And then we do handwritten postcards. If you get to an area where you know there's another 1,000 voters out there who don't always vote, but they vote conservative when they do, they're a little too spread out an area to actually hit their doors, then the handwritten postcards kind of their trick. So it's really simple blocking and tackling. You get lit to them in the church, you get it to them at their door, or at least you get a nice little handwritten postcard that someone writes out on why they should vote.
So wonderful model. Of course, what you did in Wisconsin was demonstrably effective. You're more than a boots on the ground technician. You're also a deep thinker, and you're very, very in tune, I've known for a long time, about observing and spotting trends and what's happening. So I want to go back in time, and then I want to go forward in time. And we only have a little over a minute left in this segment, so we're just going to start with this, but we'll come back to it after the break. I want to know what we are really able to draw from the 2024 election results. When I take a look at it from a big picture standpoint, if we go back to 1980, because so many people associate, Trump's this election of his with Reagan's victory. And if we go back over those last 12 elections, what we know is this. First of all, Trump won 49.8% of the popular vote. That was the 9th best result out of the last 12 elections. One of the three that was worse was his own in 2016. Also, electorally, his victory was the 8th best. So what I'm looking at from those numbers, and people are talking about a golden age for America and all those things, I want to know what it really means, what we can really pull from the 2024 election and where it might be a bridge too far. We'll have to do it after the break, but I gave such a long question. When we come back, I'll just say, John, take it. How's that?
We'll run with it.
All right. We'll be right back, folks.
Hi, it's Scott Tucker, host of Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker, heard on AM 560 on Sundays at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. I want to offer you a free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? To get your free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Just go to retirementdakota.com. That's retirementdakota.com. And please listen every Sunday at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Every 12 minutes, someone dies in a car crash on our roads. These aren't just numbers. These are parents, friends, and neighbors taken too soon. The leading causes? Avoidable choices like speeding, driving distracted, impaired driving, and not wearing a seatbelt. Every decision behind the wheel matters. Buckle up, put your phone down, drive sober, slow down. Visit sm.aaa.com/crashes hit different to learn more. Sponsored by AAA, the Auto Club Group. Aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crush
Crosscom, a construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available. Financing is flexible. And at Air Right, installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
And now, more Black and Right with John Anthony.
We are back, folks. Brent Hamachek sitting in for John Anthony. I've got John Pudner with me, who is an election turnout expert, great analyst on what we're seeing. John, I set you up before the break with some little statistics, basic stuff about the victory for Trump in 2024. And I asked you to tell us what you think we can really draw from 2024 in terms of knowledge, lessons, and what might still be left to be learned.
Yes, or it was a victory of common sense over voting out of a sense of guilt. I mean, I think that gets the core of all these issues. It was the rejection of the experts, so-called experts, who said, there really are, 100 genders or whatever. I mean, there's just that, well, no, that's not true. I don't think I believe that. Is that really true? I think it was just this awakening that I don't have to listen to this BS anymore. And I think that played out in so many ways. I mean, the left's theme was we're protecting democracy and talking about January 6th and everything. And, they're trying to imprison the nominee, to bankrupt him through the courts. I just think it became I've had enough. And then from there, you can go to specific issue. I mean, men and women's sports. Isn't it a problem that fentanyl is coming across the border along with all these illegal immigrants? I mean, you can go through the common sense issues then that were specific, but I think at the core, it's just over. You have to feel guilty if you don't vote the way we're telling you to vote. And by the way, we're trying to imprison your nominee.
Did you see any shifts in any sort of block or demographic that you think was something that is an indication of a forward trend, or anything that any of those that might have just been sort of aberrational? Talk about what might be sustainable and buildable upon, and talk about what might just be an outlying data point or uncertain.
Sure. I'll give you the one bad news one first. I think has to be a concern. A bad case would be Trump so motivated people that, say in Wisconsin as an example, just here north here, since that was the closest state, 200,000 new, mainly rural voters got fired up about what was being done, a lot of good working class, everything else, but they were Trump-only voters, or are they Trump-only voters? That's the concern. Are they going to continue to vote? And if I were put on my negative hat, I'd say, did we trade 150,000 kind of suburban voters who kind of said this isn't my party anymore and I'm moving on for good? So a pessimistic scenario would be we kind of gained 200,000 for one election and gave up 150,000 long term. Now, I don't think that's what's happening long term, because I think it was such the shift that's lasting is among groups like parents of any kind. I mean, I don't want someone punching my daughter. She's in athletics. And, the less response is, there aren't that many cases of trans people. And, well, partly it's because we put a big fight to it. But there are women not competing at events in college conferences, because they've got guys on an opposing team for a conference tournament. I mean, there's so many tentacles to that. So I think just to really win the parents over, that's a long-term thing. And if you're a parent and you're worried about these trends and the things they've tried to get into the schools, even if you're in the 90% who send your child to a public school, you've got real concerns about what's being done. So I think that's one of several long-lasting. And overall, I'm optimistic, but I wanted to at least throw out the one negative I see.
Right. Yeah. Looking at some of the data, it's fascinating to look a little bit deeper. I recall, and I haven't done this now for a few months, but taking the state of Michigan as an example, I know that there was extraordinarily high turnout in Michigan for this election. And of course, Trump won the state. When you start to thin slice the data, what you also see is, despite this large turnout statewide, in the southeastern corner, Detroit and South, they had much lower turnout. And so if that turnout had been greater, the state may not have gone that way, which comes back perhaps to the candidate who is running against Trump and just not being able to light a fire behind her. John, as you look ahead to the next upcoming election, just look at the midterms. I mean, they're just about here. What are you looking at that needs to be done in your field? What are you focusing on?
Well, I do think what's happened, one reason we're focused on faith-based and churches and things is that used to be thought of as kind of the fringe of the Republican Party. You'd say the religious right. I'm talking decades ago. And that's the group that we've got to hold. That's a group that was still a little bit, I'm not sure I like Trump's personality, but when I go through the issues, I know I'm with him. And so that's what's got to be lasting is the, hey, look, this is an agenda. This is an agenda that has to move. And, this can all go back. The victories we're having now can go back in 2 years. And just kind of that thought, because I think a lot of those, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of evangelicals at Trump rallies, et cetera, but the ones I'm worried about are kind of your churchgoers. They're in some ways almost your mainstream. They're not establishment, but they really know they're conservative on issues. And can they be, post-Trump, get to the polls, vote conservative, et cetera? And, now they're great examples. Georgia, for example, set a record. I had to give kudos to my counterpart with Georgia, Faith and Freedom. They had 92% of evangelicals in Georgia voted for Trump. We've never seen numbers like that for any conservative in any group. So that's there, but there's a lower percent that's regular churchgoers, and yet they become almost a more crucial swing voter, I would say.
So as we close in on this segment, John, stick around, and when we come back for the last 5 minutes here, I want to talk to you about faith and politics and activism. You manage it so brilliantly. I want to get your thoughts on what the secret sauce is. I'm with John Pudner, folks. I'm Brent Hamachek. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market indexed returns and limit the downside? Join Mark Kohler for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, Sunday afternoons at 3. You can also call Mark now for your complimentary customized Retirement and Income Kit and Retirement and Income Book at 844-619-SAFE. Mark Kohler, protecting wealth since 1990. That's 844-619-7233.
We couldn't decide if we needed in-home care for Dad.
Right. Just some help here and there with bathing, organizing his meds, a walk through the neighborhood.
Oh, exactly. But everywhere we looked, we had a 4-hour minimum. It was more care than he needed. And it didn't make sense to spend extra for it.
Then we found Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. No minimum hours. We were shocked.
Now a caregiver stops by once or twice a week for just an hour or two to help with the small things that make a big difference.
And Mom loves the visits. It's not just help. It's companionship.
At Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, we understand that not every family needs round-the-clock care. We serve DuPage, Cook, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. We conduct free in-home assessments and we guarantee compatibility. Call Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest today at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
Is cremation an option you're considering for you or your loved one? At Catholic cemeteries, we offer sacred, permanent places of rest where loved ones can be remembered, prayed for, and visited for generations. Too often, cremated remains are brought home, only to end up in closets, basements, or forgotten on shelves. Memorialization is forever. Honor their life. Preserve your legacy. Visit us today at CatholicCemeteryChicago.org to schedule a free consultation or call 708-236-5490.
Black and Right continues. Once again, here's John Anthony.
Welcome back, everybody. Brent Hamachek sitting in for John Anthony as we come to the close of hour 2. I've got John Pudner on the line with me. And John's been an election turnout activist and very successful for a very long time. So, John, I want to go right to a question. I have a real concern as I look at America today, and I look at this very active faith-based political movement. Nothing wrong with people of faith being involved in politics. Let me be clear. Don't light the phone boards up. But you can see moments where there can be a sort of zealousness to it that feels to me like crossing a line. It certainly feels like crossing a line that, let's perhaps say, that Jesus might not cross were he with us going door to door. You do this so perfectly. And what I want to know from you is, how does someone who is such a principled man of faith balance the faith with being politically active? You're the master. Light us all up and tell us.
Well, I think you always have to be accomplishing good. It does get to the point, like, you can't be the philosopher who's always looking for a perfect solution, that, laws cannot enact every moral act. There's something between, hey, let everyone do whatever they want, and put some pillars in place to kind of guide people toward good decisions that don't hurt each other. But I just think there's a sense that the left had gone so far to the other side that we don't have to be extreme on the right to win. And just to give you an example, the across the board people of faith. I mean, the Islamic Center of America in Dearborn, Michigan, is the biggest Islamic place of worship in North America. 70% of Muslims in Dearborn voted for Joe Biden. 34% voted for Kamala Harris. I think that just sums it up. All kinds of other issues, and despite Israel and everything else, now maybe that wouldn't be the same today, but there's still a core, even of a faith that's different. Another God of Abraham religion, but certainly so different from Judeo-Christian. And I just think to different degrees that played off throughout just the religious core of, hey, we had a Judeo-Christian underpinnings that really was necessary for democracy to flourish. And if you can go that far, without going further, then you've got your Lutherans and your Catholics in the Midwest and other groups. And that's it. We just, we've got to convince people that we need basic moral religious underpinnings. From there, you can decide, am I more libertarian, where these are just very, a few very specific things that at least set the state, but at least don't be anti-religion. And that's why I do think the IRS decision last week to put out that churches can now actually endorse. I think that's the biggest breakthrough since the Johnson Amendment. Since the Johnson Amendment, people of faith have been beaten down and told you can't be involved. And we just had to get past that, and now that's going to open the door and make it so much easier to do outreach and turnout.
Terrific. John, tell everybody, we've got about a minute left here. Tell everybody how they can find and support your work.
Absolutely. I hate to start this, I would still go to the WisconsinFFC.com, which is Wisconsin Faith and Freedom, just because we're getting the national organized. That'll really be launching officially next week publicly. But WisconsinFFC.com actually does have a lot of stories about what we're doing around the country, and certainly we'd love to get down there for events, have in the past. And I would just start there, sign up, where we have weekly newsletters. We'll be in touch with you if you sign up with us.
Well, that sounds great. I encourage everybody to take a look and take a look at supporting John. John, thank you for joining me. I'll say in closing, and I started the conversation with John by saying this, folks. John Pudner is proof that you can get involved in a very dirty business and play it in a very clean way, maintain your integrity, and still get results. He sets a very good example for all of us to follow. Certainly, he's been a good example for me. We'll be right back.
Chicagoland traffic. The Ike, the Stevenson, the dreaded 294. You sitting in traffic is not time well spent. Time is money.
Oh, come on, man. What's the slowdown for?
Especially when you're trying to do your own company deliveries.
What is happening up there? I got things to deliver.
But instead of sitting there getting more and more frustrated,
please, can we go any slower?
You could be back at the shop getting work done.
I should have stayed at work and actually worked.
Get Quick Delivery Service to battle the traffic for you. They'll make your deliveries while you get other things done. Quick Delivery Service makes it easy. No forms, no labels, no scanning. They'll deliver large pallets of materials to important documents. Simply tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going. They'll pick it up and get it to your destination quickly. Plus, your deliveries are tracked with real-time GPS notifications. Visit quickdelivery.com and stay out of traffic.
Oh no, this exit's closed?
Call now for a free quote. 847-534-2244 or go to quickdelivery.com.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer.
Another grim discovery in Texas. I'm Roger Stern, Fox News. The remains of 2 more victims have been found following last week's flash flooding in Texas. Fox's Garrett Tenney is in Kerrville.
Those search and recovery efforts still very much ongoing. And we learned that search teams have now recovered the remains of 2 8-year-old girls and a counselor from Camp Mystic. A little bit about them from their families. Catherine Ferruzzo just recently graduated high school. She was a counselor at the all-girls Christian camp, and she was planning to become a special education teacher. The family of Abby Pohl says she had a magical life force that filled the room with light and laughter. And Kellyanne Lytle, her family says she was kind, fearless, and a loving friend to everyone.
Meanwhile, searchers are worried about rain this weekend. Even a little can cause more flooding because the soil is so saturated with water. A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to halt supposedly indiscriminate immigration stops in California. Fox's Chanley Painter with that.
That judge ordering the Trump administration to cease immigration stops and arrests in 7 California counties, including Los Angeles, after immigration advocacy groups filed a lawsuit saying President Trump's administration systematically targeted, quote, brown-skinned people. The judge's order temporarily blocks arrest without, quote, reasonable suspicion that the person is in the country illegally, saying officers were unconstitutionally relying on improper factors like race, accent, and line of work. She also agreed detainees were denied adequate access to lawyers.
The U.S. says it's sanctioning Cuba's president and other top officials for human rights violations. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Overnight will be partly cloudy and humid with a low of 66. Sunday brings less humidity along with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Expect hazy skies due to wildfire smoke. The high will reach 86. Sunday night will be clear with a low of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. You can't go there. You can't play your favorite sport. You better sit this one out. It's no way to live. If pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help you get back to living life again on your terms. One where you say yes a whole lot more. Head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 800-4RELIEF. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by a team of doctors and scientists, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, your joints, your muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. Give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, a low-cost way for you to sort of take it out for a test drive. Less than $1 a day. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF. See how you could live with less pain, and you can say yes to more of everything you want with Relief Factor.
Will your current financial plan weather any storm? It's crucial to have a strategy that can endure and grow. Best Gen Wealth Partners can help you survive and thrive in retirement. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com.
Advisory services offered through Best Gen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and Best Gen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. Best Gen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
Why don't we do one of those one-day bathroom remodels?
Well, because I don't want a generic bathroom that looks like it belongs at a campsite.
Fair. I'd love something that fits us. A bigger shower, safety grab bars, better lighting, heated floors.
Let's go with Forever Remodeling. There's no templates. Every design is unique and exactly what we want.
At Forever Remodeling, no two bathrooms are ever the same. Visit Forever Remodeling today at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com. And tell them AM 560 sent you.
Exclusive interviews, bold commentary, and behind-the-scenes insights into stories that the mainstream media won't cover. It's the Unshaken and Unafraid podcast with Joe Pags on the Salem Podcast Network.
You guys know better than anybody that you just can't compete on an equal level playing field with somebody of the opposite gender. It's just not fair. That's a fact.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
AM 560, The Answer. Prepare to have your mind opened. The lies of the mainstream media are about to be exposed, and the hypocrisy of the left is about to be revealed. This is a revolution in how you think about politics, race, and culture. You've tuned into Black and Right with John Anthony.
I'm coming in hot.
Welcome back, everybody, to John Anthony's show on AM 560. It is the final hour. You've almost made it. If you can stick with me for one more hour, I can't give you a gold star because I can't come to your home, but I could give you a virtual pat on the back. Maybe AI could help me out. I can bring Mark Beckman back to help with that. But I'm Brent Hamachek filling in for John. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. And we've got a great guest this half hour. He is dynamic. I understand that the old practice in nursing homes of tying a posy around a chair is sometimes no longer permitted. But if you have somebody in your home who can wrap a posy around your waist and keep you in your chair, I would recommend it, because our next guest will drive you right out of your chair with his energy and his passion. So I'm going to bring C.L. Bryan on here in a moment. But before I do, C.L. has the greatest publicist who's a dear friend. Her name is Michelle Odom. She's listening right now. And boy, is she tenacious. Now, she sent me a bio of C.L.'s to read. And I know that if I don't read it, well, let's put it this way. I'm not going to want to answer my telephone after the show. So here go the reading glasses. And C.L. Bryant served as a gospel pastor for 35 years at churches across the U.S., including his last church, which is located in his beloved home state of Louisiana. He is an author, an award-winning filmmaker of the movie Runaway Slave, which earned a Crystal Dove Award, as well as igniting the Black conservative movement across America. He is a former senior fellow with FreedomWorks Washington, D.C., former NAACP president in Garland, Texas, former advisory board member for Donald Trump's first term. He is the radio host of the C.L. Bryant Show on Red State Talk Radio, as well as the former host of the Newsmax television show Save the Nation. In 2023, Reverend Bryant married his beautiful wife, Anna Rodriguez Bryant, at Mar-a-Lago. Michelle, I hope I did that okay. And CL, are you on the line?
I certainly am, and thank you so much, Brent and Michelle, for that great introduction. Thank you so much.
You got it. I bet she's smiling back home in Louisiana. So, CL, you've had me as a guest on your show a couple of times, and you've always treated me with great courtesy and probably more respect than I even deserve. So I'm grateful for that. And now it's my chance to return that favor. So you have been active in this American political movement, and then in particular in the Black political movement, and even more particular than in the Black conservative political movement for a very long time. And one of the things that Michelle shared with me that you would like to talk about on the show is something that I wanted to talk to you about anyway, only phrased slightly differently. And that is the evolution of our society here in America from the 60s through today. So if you want to take us through that as you see it, and forgive me in advance if I interrupt you along the way to ask a clarifying question. Sometimes I don't follow the story, but take us through your thoughts on this.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for the opportunity. And again, Michelle, and to all our friends there in Louisiana, les bon temps relais, let the good times roll. This is something that I have not been told or read about. I was actually there in the 60s as a child of the 60s. I was, when the Civil Rights Bill was passed in 1964, 65, I was 8 and 9 years old. At that time, I've written on the back of the bus, drank from the colored and white water fountain, and the water's the same in both of the fountains. There's no question about that. And of course, it has been an evolution, as I have seen it, over the past 60 years that has transpired. And many times you have in our society today people who want to steal the valor of those who actually their shoulders we stand on, but yet there are those who want to steal their valor and sort of take us back to a time where there was not the equality that you experience today. My children, my grandchildren, they'll never know the type of price that was paid for them to do the type things that they do in this country. And it's still the greatest nation on the face of the planet. There's no question about that. It's the greatest success story that the world has ever known. And those of us who came out of any type of oppression, as far as ancestral oppression in this country are concerned, we're living proof of the greatest success story that the world has ever known, and that is the United States of America.
So going back to the 60s, I mean, Lyndon Johnson, who we all know was, well, I say we all know. Let's say it differently. There seems to be a general consensus that he wasn't perhaps a politician of, shall we say, the highest level of integrity. But that said, there seems to be an element of brilliance to what he did strategically from a voting bloc perspective. And that is that right on the heels of the Civil Rights Act, the passage of the Great Society programs that started to shape or reshape and change individuals' relationship with government and dependency. How critical was what Johnson did in the 60s to shape the landscape we're in today?
It's important to understand Lyndon Johnson and his mindset. If he was nothing else, and of course he was a racist at his core, there's no question about that. However, Johnson was a politician, a consummate politician, and reaching across aisles and coming to common sense decisions for a nation was very common among politicians at that point in time. Johnson saw the mounting pressure of the civil rights movement, with Martin King being as prominent, Dr. Martin Luther King being as prominent as he was becoming at that time. This was prior to 1968. And Johnson was, again, a very consummate politician, and he did what was necessary for him to do in order to keep a certain stability going. Even after the Vietnam War and his resignation, the movement that Lyndon Baines Johnson made during that civil rights era were crucial to a pendulum swing, I'll say, in this nation. However, that pendulum has swung much too far to the left. Johnson, of course, would be, even though he was a Democrat at that time, he'd be ultra-conservative now.
So would it be right to characterize his move as being one that was long-term, strategically brilliant to capture a voting bloc, or was he inadvertently brilliant in that regard, do you think?
Actually, Brett, it's sort of both of them. He was inadvertent in his brilliance. There's no question about it. However, there was a deviancy in it as well, because he is quoted as saying and expressing that his goal was to capture a certain vote for 200 years, and surely he's held on to it for 60 years. It has certainly worked for 60 years. And many of us who came out from under that spell of that Johnson, the Great Society, Dr. Thomas Sowell led the way, and in many cases, Shelby Steele and people like that, then Herman Cain, and all of them whose shoulders, mentors of mine, Herman Cain and Dr. Thomas Sowell. Dr. Sowell's in my film, and so is Dr. Cain, Herman Cain in my film, God Rest Herman's Soul. And these men are people who left, as we began to talk about it in the movie, The Plantation, many years before many of us ever realized we were enslaved. And so that type of liberation only comes with truth-telling. And what I see happening now, Brett, is a swing in this country toward someone wanting to hear the truth. And they're sick to death, as John Lennon said, of the politicians, the pig-headed politicians. All we really want is some truth. Just give us some truth.
So we're getting up near the break. When we come back, CL, I want to talk about what the Republican Party needs to do to build on whatever it was that really might have started to happen in 2024. I'll add to your list, by the way, Walter Williams, someone who I had a chance to study briefly under in college and maintain some correspondence with over the rest of his life. So we'll be right back with more of CL Bryant, folks.
If you've ever wanted to meet Larry Elder, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, or Charlie Kirk, now's your chance. It's AM 560's Terrific Talkers VIP Experience Contest. Enter today for a chance to meet your favorite host and sit in on a live broadcast. The grand prize includes airfare and 3 nights of accommodations. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/VIP. That's 560theanswer.com/VIP.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago Immune Support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
When you want the best in construction and industrial equipment, look no further than Chicago's most trusted name for 76 years, O'Leary's. From Bobcat to Bosch, Milwaukee to Steel, O'Leary's carries all the top brands and a huge inventory. From skid loaders and excavators, power tools, generators to welders, O'Leary's has the equipment contractors count on, all under one roof. Located on 6 sprawling acres in the heart of Chicago, O'Leary's boasts a massive showroom and full-service shop, better equipped than any competitor in the city. All backed by an experienced team who are committed to meeting your needs. Plus, a modern delivery fleet driven by pros. With O'Leary's, you'll get the gear you need, on time, in perfect condition, and with service that actually knows your name. Visit O'Leary'sEquipment.com. Call 773-252-6600 or stop by just off 290, exit 24AB on Cicero Avenue. O'Leary's, where experience meets equipment and equipment meets satisfied customers.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
It's the show the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about. It's Black and Right with John Anthony.
Welcome back, everybody, to the John Anthony Show. I'm still Brent Hamachek. I'm still sitting in, and I am rejoined by C.L. Bryant. C.L., glad you stayed with us over the break. I want to ask you a question that I want to frame a little bit. There's some different pieces here that all kind of fit together, and then I want to talk about it because you're going to have some very insightful reflections. One is the common refrain that we've heard for a long time of Republicans telling the black community, Democrats have abandoned you. They have ignored you. They have taken your vote for granted. That has been a familiar refrain. In 2024, we seem to have that echo coming right back out of the canyon because it seems as though the black community has been saying, Democrats, you've been ignoring us. You've been taking us for granted. You've counted on our vote as a given, and so on. Those things seem to have happened. We know that Trump did better in 2024 with that demographic. So there's two questions here. One is, what did him doing better with that demographic mean? Did it mean an embrace of what he was saying, or did it mean a rejection of what previously had been being said and done for them by the other party? So that's question number one. Take that one, and then we'll go to the next one, which is going to be, what are Republicans supposed to do about all this?
To answer the first question, President Trump and what he is saying resonates, and even in the fashion that he says it, it resonates. It somehow rings to be true, even in its delivery. May not be the most flawless, but it is a true representation of a man and seemingly his passion for his nation, and that is what is resonating among the people. Also, he's reminding in his own way black people that the Republican Party was the first home of the black vote. and the first senators and congressmen that ever sat in the United States Congress were Republicans. And all of that changed after Harry Truman integrated, after the United States Army was integrated. And so there, Runaway Slave, my film, can be seen on Prime and other outlets as well. Just about every streaming outlet, you can see Runaway Slave. My film, 13, 14 years ago now, kicked that door open to so many ideas that you see trumpeted and heralded by many black conservatives today who were not, or they were, but they were afraid to come out. And so we gave them that way out. And so that's what is being heard by Donald John Trump, is a way out and a way in also, Brett. He's showing them a way in, and so that is his message. And as simple as it is, it's not very complex. But the news media, they take it and they twist it to a point where it's not intelligible to those who would really want to understand.
So I want to talk then about the second question, which is, what are Republicans supposed to do? And this, to me, this is really very fascinating, and it's critical to understand what the motivations, needs and demands might be of any demographic, and then what politicians are supposed to do to meet that need or demand within the context of what they believe is right or wrong to do. So
remains. Mm-hmm.
So to frame that a little more specifically, are Republicans supposed to come up with some very specific types of policies that would resonate inside of the black community? And if they are, what kind of policies would they be? Would they be the kind of policies Democrats promised but didn't deliver? Or would they be a different kind of policy altogether? I can't wait for your answer.
Of the people, by the people, and for the people is the creed, truly, of the Republican Party. It's the creed of the Republic. And so the Republican Party, many times, they've lost touch with themselves, trying to play the political game and, both sides of the street, knowing in many cases, or at least they should know, that they have the winning hand already. They don't have to play that type of game. Republicans now must stick to the truth of who they were founded to be. It was the party of Lincoln. And, of course, Lincoln was a human being, so surely he had his flaws as well. However, all of us have a purpose. We're names with purposes. You are, I am. And so in the fullness of time, God's time, he has brought us all here to this point. And now the question is, what choices do we make? Because surely it all depends on the choices that we as Americans, as individuals, make here in the very near future. I pray God's blessings upon our president, his safety, and his family, their safety, and upon America as well. And I do believe the Republicans now have the opportunity, and it is incumbent upon them to tell their story and, of course, to learn their story so they can tell it accurately and to defend it effectively.
So, as you know, CL, I live here in the greater Chicago area, or the not-so-great Chicago area, perhaps might be appropriate for our times. And one of the things that has been very interesting to watch over the last 24 months has been at once Governor Abbott started his deportation program, and so many undocumented folks got sent from Texas up here to Chicago, resettled into all these various centers. What we saw every night on the nightly news, they covered it, were protests in black communities, always in the black communities. They weren't putting these people on the Gold Coast on Michigan Avenue and Lakeshore Drive. but the protest saying, you've taken over my civic center. You know, our hospital ER rooms are full, this classrooms and so on, right? This protest about what about us? And I'm wondering just how big an impact. So to an observer, it seems like this has been a really big deal as a motivator. Is it? Am I mischaracterizing it or misobserving it? Or has this caused something that actually is significant?
I think the nerve has been, pardon me, the nerve has been touched. Pardon me, I don't know what that was in my throat, but just the same, a nerve has been touched, Brett. And let me say that it had to come to this in order for the pain of it to cause reaction from the black community. When someone crosses the border illegally, the same as crossing your threshold of your home, your apartment, whatever it is you might have. When they cross that threshold uninvited, that's a crime. There's a crime that has been committed against our homeland, our nation. And we can't have a nation if, in fact, we don't have borders. There's always been borders. Even going back to biblical times, the Garden of Eden had borders. Heaven has gates as well as the gates of hell. There's always borders. And so it's ridiculous for anyone to take that type of stance that a nation, certainly one such as ours, should not be able to defend or should defend its borders. And yes, black people are feeling the pain of that because it is true. When white America catches a cold, black America does get pneumonia, especially in situations like this, because the obvious outlet for people of who are invading this nation are lower income areas, and it should be a wake-up call for middle income to moderate to upper income even places in America. If we allow this to continue, it will become a cancer.
C.L. Bryan, everybody. C.L., such a privilege to talk to you. I'm very grateful you would take the time to spend with me on a Saturday. Wish you all the best and look forward to talking to you again. When we come back, folks, Casey Fleming, is going to scare you a bit on the threats we face from China.
Larry Elder.
The Larry Elder Show.
Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, all three major indices hitting record highs. The hopeful passage of the big, beautiful bill, lower regulations, inflation has been tamed. I don't know. It just doesn't sound to me like we're on the verge of a recession, let alone a depression, which some people have predicted.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Fox News, I'm Jack Callahan. More than 170 people are still missing from the flash flooding that swept through central Texas last week. Texas Republican Congressman Pat Fallon telling Fox.
We lost over 100 souls, but what we need to also recognize is we saved 1,000 people. 1,000 people were saved because of the actions of the state.
Thunderstorms are once again in the forecast for central Texas. A new report exposes critical security lapses in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump 1 year ago in Butler, Pennsylvania.
This is coming out from a Senate report now saying that the Secret Service not only made big mistakes that day, but according to a report that just came out from Senator Chuck Grassley, he says that the Secret Service knew there was a threat to President Trump's life for 10 days and didn't take action or share that information.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. America is listening to Fox News.
So, what'd you call me over here to see, buddy?
Well, wait till you see the new set of wheels
Whoa, would you look at this garage floor? Wow, buddy, is this epoxy? So smooth and shiny. It looks like a showroom in here. Wow, looks easy to keep nice and clean, too.
Yeah, it is, but...
Man, I've been thinking about getting an epoxy coating. This is a sweet-looking garage floor.
You happen to notice my new Corvette?
Oh, That's cool too.
Level 10 Coatings, Chicagoland's premier concrete coatings company. We can improve the look of your garage, basement, office, or outdoor space with customized concrete coating solutions. As Chicagoland's only certified Cimarron installer, we're setting industry standards with the most durable flooring solutions at highly competitive prices. Level 10 Coatings uses polyurea and polyaspartic coating, which is stronger than epoxy. Turn your ugly garage floor into a showroom floor. Now, with the summer special, just mention AM560 to receive $500 off any project. Visit level10coatings.com.
Big or small, we coat them all. Level 10 Coatings, your custom concrete coating solution.
Our local hospitals are the heartbeat of our communities, delivering critical care every hour of every day for everyone, training the next generation of caregivers. Beyond the walls, their benefit to the community is everywhere, driving the local economy and supporting local organizations, initiatives, and neighbors. Illinois Hospitals, healing communities. Learn more at team-iha.org. Sponsored by the Illinois Health and Hospital Association. Aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is a special alert during this window replacement season. Don't get tricked by the cheapest offers and gimmicky ads. Now's the time to see and feel the difference of high-performance windows from Valdecas.
When it's time to consider new windows, siding, and doors for your home, you need to look no further. Sebastian Gorka here to tell you about Valdecas. Valdecas has been the trusted name chosen by thousands of homeowners, and they should be your number one choice too. But what's really behind the name Valdecas? Over 25 years of a team dedicated to providing you with the best customer service experience and products that truly bring value to your home. They are a Pella Platinum Elite Status certified contractor for a reason. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, as well as high ratings and positive reviews on both Google and Houzz. Schedule your free in-house consultation at valdecas.com.
Ask about their exclusive manufacturer warranties and their 10-year workmanship guarantee.
Don't wait. Book today at valdecas.com. For the best in class, it's Valdecas.
Did you know that AM560 Radio has a full-service digital marketing division called Salem Surround? If you're a business decision maker, listen up. AM560 listeners are everywhere your potential audience is. So are our incredible targeting capabilities. We localize digital marketing and put it within reach of every business, small and large, in Chicagoland and beyond. Salem Surround offers AI-powered marketing solutions that reach your ideal audience. Whether or not you tap into the proven live, local, and emotional connection that AM560 Radio brings, Salem Surround offers a total marketing solution to our partners. All-in-one digital solutions that provide targeted local digital and social media ads, Google AdWords management, website services, video strategy, search optimization, and even a management dashboard to offer you total campaign updates and transparency. Your Salem Surround representative is located right here in Chicago. Experience the Salem Surround digital revolution today. Call 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
This is Black and Right with John Anthony.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AM560's Black and Right, hosted by John Anthony. I'm Brent Hamachek, sitting in today for John. It's a privilege for me. And I am joined now by Casey Fleming, the CEO of Black Ops Partners. He is an expert on unrestricted and cognitive warfare. He is a consultant to large corporations and various government agencies, and he's also the author of the upcoming book, The Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom. Casey, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So do the brief Casey Fleming background piece so people know why they need to leave their radio dial on AM 560 for a few minutes.
I come from the business world. I don't come from the government world or the military world. So I come from that viewpoint, which is more applicable to your audience, to the John Q. public out there. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have an allegiance to a boss, only to the American people to tell them the truth of what we've discovered over the past 15 years of working this problem, identifying this problem, and working through it. So I'm happy to be on your show to give them the detail that they deserve.
So I wanted to ask you a question. I had the occasion this past week in communicating with a person much younger than myself and tuning them into the 1980 Olympic hockey game when the United States beat the Soviet Union and sharing with them what a big national moment that was. During that time, everyone in America seemed to recognize very, very clearly that the Soviet Union was our enemy. It was a threat. Yet today, as we move the clock forward, 45 years since, it seems like very few people have the same kind of recognition or appreciation of China being now our current biggest threat. And I've been thinking about why is that? And the thing that came to my mind, what's the biggest fundamental difference that I see? And that is a very simple one, perhaps, but I'm a simple man. And that is we didn't buy a lot of stuff from the Soviet Union, but we buy a lot of stuff from China. And there seems to be something built in that says, well, if we're trading with them so much, they must not be so bad. Or at least I hope they're not so bad. So I'm wondering if you could comment on what it is, if that's part of it, or what it is that causes the American people to not seemingly appreciate this threat the way they did the Soviet Union.
Well, you described it exactly right, as it is. They're a trading partner. How can a country that wants to end us, end our freedom, and end our families, and everything that we stand for, which is freedom, how can a country want to do that? And that is exactly what is happening. So because they're a trading partner, we've been doing business with them ever since they were entered into the World Trade Organization under Bill Clinton, which in my opinion was an extreme mistake. So it all goes back to your high school days when you learned the difference between communism and freedom. And that's where we are today. So we understood Russia to be our enemy because we didn't trade with Russia. They were sitting out there and they were nefarious and they were doing things from a Cold War perspective. All that has been going on with China, but because they're a trading partner and they've got an incredible information warfare, cognitive warfare, narrative warfare going on, that, hey, we want a peaceful rise. And I want to remind the American people that the last two times we went up against China, we lost because we could not think like the Chinese. We don't even think and comprehend like Chinese. We didn't grow up in a communist household in a communist country where it's your national duty to spy. And it's your national duty to take care of the motherland. With us, with freedom, that's all protected by our military. The problem is this time, we are not protected by our military because this unrestricted warfare that the CCP is doing against Americans for decades, really significantly since the middle of the 1980s, which is their program, nation state CCP program, Chinese Communist Party program 863, which basically says we're going to lie. These are my words. I'm going to paraphrase it. We're going to lie, cheat, and steal our way to taking over the rest of the world and eliminating and destroying the United States. Now, our government, even our military, used to share secrets, used to walk on top of each other's aircraft carriers and be bros, if you will, but with an enemy that wants to destroy you. And that's exactly what's happening. The problem today is it's reached an absolute peak. And let me also tell you, you mentioned that it's the biggest threat to the United States. Well, you're absolutely correct. The former FBI director, Christopher Wray, and the director of MI5, which is the FBI in the UK, and the director of national intelligence came out and said China is the single most significant threat to the future of the United States. Even the current FBI director, Kash Patel, has said the same thing. But they don't give you any detail. And
Well,
that's
Casey,
what we're here for.
Right. I'm going to stop you there because we're going to have to go to break. We will come back after the break, continue with Casey Fleming, and we'll let you finish that point and make a few more. We'll talk about this No Kings movement. We'll be right back.
Nanograph Corporation seeks technology development engineer in Chicago, Illinois, to conduct studies of silicon anode materials and work with management to develop strategy and execution plan for future products. Telecommuting allowed less than 5% of the year. Domestic travel may be required less than 5% of the time. Salary $90,000 to $120,000 per year. If interested, send resume to nigel@nanograf.com. Subject reference number TDE1.
Experience a luxurious summer when you visit Trump International Hotel and Towers, Chicago, a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star hotel. Take in stunning views of the Chicago skyline from the heart of the city, steps away from the iconic Magnificent Mile and the revitalized Riverwalk. Treat yourself to exquisite dining at Terra 16 Restaurant and Rebar Lounge, overlooking the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. Catch the Navy Pier fireworks display from Terra 16's patio on Wednesdays and Saturdays all summer long. Relax in immaculately designed suites that offer the utmost level of comfort. Refresh in the state-of-the-art spa featuring a 75-foot swimming pool, steam and sauna rooms, relaxation lounge, and more. The Trump Hotel Chicago offers sophistication and elegance to downtown Chicago and is a convenient travel destination for your summer getaway. Simply visit Trump Chicago online to make your reservations today and search offers to find the never settle summer stay. Book today.
Perhaps you're a collector, or perhaps all of a sudden you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Sean Thompson for Donley Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donley Auctions with their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions. They have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonleyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donley does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers, it's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Okay, this basement is unreal. You've got a bar, theater seats. What is this place?
This is my escape. Forever Remodeling custom designed the whole thing. Not 1 square foot is wasted.
Man, mine still has a treadmill and a folding table.
Their designers asked a ton of questions. I wanted the ultimate game day setup. They delivered. Bar, big screen, sound that shakes the walls.
Visit Forever Remodeling today at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com. And tell them AM560 sent you.
And now, more Black and Right with John Anthony.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to AM 560's Black and Right, hosted by John Anthony. I'm still Brent Hamachek, sitting in for John today. And I'm back for another segment here with Casey Fleming, CEO of Black Ops Partners and the author of the upcoming book, The Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom. Casey, you were talking just before the break about the lack of recognition of this threat that we face from China and U.S. military preparedness. I want you to finish with that, and then I want to talk about this No Kings thing.
Sure. What we're in is what the Chinese communists call unrestricted warfare. 2 Chinese colonels wrote a book called Unrestricted Warfare back in 1999, describing exactly how they're attacking the United States. There's over 150 methods of unrestricted warfare, but those are focused on the American people, every man, woman, and child. It's not focused on the military. In fact, the military is the last stage of unrestricted warfare. In fact, Sun Tzu says, win the war without fighting. And that's exactly what they're doing. So this war is focused on every man, woman, and child. So to your audience, they need to be extremely aware of this term, unrestricted warfare, and what that means. And it means weakening your enemy from the inside out, to where you basically just quit and capitulate to a new ruler coming in. So there's drug warfare, which is fentanyl. What an extremely efficient way with fentanyl. By the way, the fentanyl capital of the world is Wuhan, China, and they use the western coast of Mexico for the cartel efficient distribution network. But fentanyl, what a way to kill tens of thousands of American military-aged young men, tens of thousands every year. And the number that gets reported to the government, we think and we surmise from our evidence in the intelligence world that the numbers double what the government publishes. The last number was 77,000, I think, in 2023. So look at that being about 150,000 and tens of thousands. And by the way, it doesn't just destroy the kid, the young adult, the military-aged young man, or if he's in high school, his future military role, but it destroys the family as well. It breaks the spirit of the family when you lose a family member to that. Vaping is drug warfare, and I'll go into the detail on another meeting. Even TikTok is drug warfare with dopamine. It's also part of cognitive warfare, changing brain structure, changing your values, your family values, and erasing those values and preparing them for full-blown communism. These are very tough words. I remember when I got into this 15 years ago, my first 30 days was, so I'm sure your audience is thinking the same thing. The first 30 days, they're not doing this. The next 30 days of intelligence, they could be doing this. The next 30 days was, oh my God, they are doing this. So the other problem is our federal government they've been duped. Every 4 years, we get a new change of guard in the government. And the other thing is we're an open and free society, and the Chinese communists and the Russians use that against us. So it's a very different threat than the Cold War with Russia. This is a very different animal, and every American man, woman, and young adult needs to think like your Chinese enemy. And I use the word enemy because Xi Jinping, the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, calls us their enemy. Why the heck don't we call them our enemy and notify that and agree with that as well? So that's really what's going on behind all the scenes. And the book that's coming out in late fall, probably November timeframe, is going to spell it out. It's going to be a guide, and it'll help you decode exactly what the heck is going on. So now you'll be able to see, you're going to look at every day. You're going to look at news media. You're going to look at everything quite a bit differently. And again, the only dog I have in this fight is the Constitution and the country that's been so good to me and my family. That's all and to, of course, God, who runs the show.
So speaking of guides and things to look for in the couple minutes we have left, touch on the No Kings movement. So I know that you've indicated that China has played a very big role in this. And in the short amount of time we have, can you connect some dots for folks who may not be quite as aware?
Absolutely. All these protests that you're seeing in LA and and this No Kings thing throughout the country is funded by the Chinese Communist Party and other entities who want to destroy the United States. And they're pitting all of us against each other. And they're making it look like we're completely out of our minds, and nothing is holding us together anymore, which is the Republic of the United States. So most of the funding for No Kings, we've identified it. The media has reported it came from the CCP. Also, there's an American billionaire that lives in China who is a puppet of the CCP, who also donated money to the No Kings movement. And it's all anti-US, anti-current government. And by the way, it's anti-freedom and anti-liberty. So when you're hearing No Kings, I don't care whether you're left, right, or center. That should upset the heck out of you that a foreign entity can come in and dislodge and replace our freedom and our Constitution. So again, I speak from the intelligence community, not from the political community. Intelligence is not political. It is fact. Did something happen on Main? Did somebody get killed on Main Street and Fifth last night at midnight, or did they not? So that's fact. It's intelligence, and it's not debatable. It's not biased. It's intelligence. So when I give you this information, it is certainly not political, and that's exactly what our enemy wants you to think. They want you to say, "What's this guy talking about? Oh, it's political. He's got a political agenda here." I do not. I absolutely do not.
On that note, we have to wrap up. We got to go to break. Casey Fleming, everybody, look for his book when it comes out this fall. Casey, thank you so much for joining us. It's really insightful.
Thank you for having me.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting outside, getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pains, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your life. Head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 800-4RELIEF and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. Relief Factor is the daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by a team of doctors, it uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask the pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take Relief Factor, the more effective it is to get your days going without any pain. See if we can get you out of pain by taking their 3-week quick start. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Simply call 800-4RELIEF. 800-4RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, neck, shoulders, hips, knees, don't let it keep you from living the life you want to live. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
Black and Right continues. Once again, here's John Anthony.
All right, everybody. Brent Hamachek, final segment. Welcome back. I told you to get a pen and paper for this. I want to run 3 websites by you and share a final thought. The first one is commongroundcampus.com. Now, this is a program, Common Ground Campus, that was started by my dear friend and my Freedom Chamber colleague, Felissa Blazek. And it's a program designed to teach young people how to think critically, engage constructively, and solve problems together. And it creates experiences where students come together and discover that they have more in common with each other than they ever realized. And it's also designed to train young people to find their voice and then express that voice on social media and elsewhere in a positive manner instead of a destructive one. The next website I want you to go to is freesocietycoalition.org. This is spectacular. This is a group of liberty-minded think tanks that range from the Atlas Society, that's associated with Ayn Rand, maybe the most famous atheist of the 20th century, or one of them, and then the Acton Institute, an extraordinarily Catholic organization, and a whole host of others that came together a year plus ago to say, look, we agree on 7 out of 10 things, and we spend too much time focusing on the 3. So these groups have come together to support the notion of individual liberty and personal responsibility and to work past their differences. The third website I want you to go to is called theamerican250.org. Excuse me, it's been a long 3 hours, folks. It'll redirect you to the Red, White, and Blue Tour site, and you will see a program that launched over a year ago. Now, it's not to be confused with other programs that have been arising related to America's 250th birthday. But this is a site that is all about expressions through words, artistry, music, and contests that are geared towards individuals expressing how they have used their gifts of freedom to better themselves and others. Now, I give you 3 different sites where I have varying degrees of connections to all of these initiatives. But the common thread, the thing that runs through them all, is that each one is designed to reach out to other people, people with whom we have differences, and find a way to engage them in a manner that is constructive, that gets them to listen to you while you're listening to them. We've lost the ability in this country to ask questions of other people. We need to do 2 things better. We need to ask questions, and we need to listen to the answers. The 2 most influential characters in human history, arguably, one secular, one religious, Socrates and Jesus Christ. They have 2 things in common. First, they both gave their lives for their ministries, for their teachings. The second is they changed the course of the world by asking questions. The theme, the tagline of Common Ground Campus is do better. And I want all of us to think about that and try to do better in how we engage, not those we agree with, but those that we don't agree with. Let's find out what we have in common. We already know what our differences are. Thanks for letting me host. It's been a real treat. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer.
President Trump announces new 30% tariffs. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News, targeting goods from the European Union and Mexico beginning August 1st. Fox's Alexandria Hoff with the president in New Jersey has details.
President Trump revealed this plan on Truth Social today, where letters were shared to nations. That includes Mexico and the EU. Letter to Mexico reads in part, Mexico has been helping me secure the border, but what Mexico has done is not enough. Mexico still has not stopped the cartels who are trying to turn all of North America into a narco-trafficking playground. French President Emmanuel Macron expressed his disapproval over the 30% plan, writing, this announcement comes after weeks of intense engagement by the Commission in negotiations with the United States on the basis of a solid offer made in good faith.
In Central Texas, more than one